Didn't China, was that in 2008 or 2009 where they did shoot down one of their satellites in 2007? And yeah, they did manage to shoot down a low Earth orbit satellite, and it did create kind of a debris field. It's still a problem today, correct?
And they also made 4 or 5 other demonstration flights to prove that they could get their interceptor close enough to destroy the satellite. The 2007 was their simply their power demonstration event. But unfortunately, our government didn't inform us about the previous attempts until afterwards.
Well, so this is very interesting to me, the way that the CCP is trying to cover their sinister space plans with propaganda. You know, I'm just thinking of Hollywood movies like Gravity or what was the one with
Valerian?
Matt Damon. Well, yeah,
No,
Valerian Without City, but I'm thinking of the Matt Damon one.
The Martian. Where
The
like
Martian.
he needs help from the China's civilian space program.
Exactly, and then, but yeah, like Valerian, City of a Thousand Planets, where this whole space city is created essentially from an original Chinese space capsule.
Oh yeah, the Sandra Bullock movie where her life is saved by being able to get into the Chinese space station and all that. This is all rort. I mean, the real movie that should have been made, I would suggest, was of the 2008 Shenzhou 7 mission. The first manned Shenzhou mission in 2003 was actually the astronaut was the secondary payload. The primary payload of the first manned Chinese spaceflight were 2 large optical cameras that were, spying, right? Taking pictures. The astronaut was just along for the ride in the pictures. But in 2007, that Shenzhou mission was really insidious. It was their first spacewalk. The first time they sent a guy in a spacesuit outside of the hull of the spaceship. But after that mission was done, the guy climbs back into the Shenzhou, and then it launches a microsatellite. 200-pound little satellite, and it goes out in front of the Shenzhou just as it is passing within 45 kilometers of the International Space Station. Now, there were 3 people on the ISS at that time, 2 Russians and an American. And this was a deliberate attempt by China to demonstrate that it could shoot down the ISS. When this was happening, it was kind of being called out first on a Russian space web chat page, and then the Chinese picked this up. I found it first on the Chinese pages, traced it back to the Russian page, and I think the next day sent a question to the press office at NASA. Hey, did you know that these guys are saying that they just basically fired a satellite that passed within a very dangerous distance of the ISS? And the press office says, we have to check with the Strategic Command about this. And a day later, yep, confirmed. This thing passed within the box. If something violates this box around the ISS, they are required to move the ISS. Now, I don't think they moved it, but what they didn't do was comment on this Chinese action. They did not issue a press release. They did not condemn the Chinese for what they had just done. I mean, I was attacked on liberal web pages after that for pointing all this out, being extreme, exaggeration, Fisher, conservative, bad. But I mean, it still stands out to me as an early example of China's willingness to not just attack a manned space outpost of the democracies, but to use its manned space program to perform not just military, but deadly military missions in space.
I brought up the movies. This is why I brought up the movie thing, because China's trying to send this message to, I guess, particularly Americans, that China's space program It's just like NASA. It's civilian, it's harmless, it's just man going to the final frontier.
It
But
kind of is like what they did with their Antarctica program, right? Like using the whole like everybody's there for scientific exploration thing.
except nobody makes movies out about Antarctica, except for The Thing. But that's a very different thing. What is the difference between America's civilian NASA and China's space program?
Well, for the longest time, at least, the American program deliberately sought to create a firewall between its activities and the American military. When the space shuttle came along, that firewall descended at certain points because we needed the space shuttle to put heavy military payloads into space. And there are many missions of the space shuttle that performed classified or space missions for which there was very little commentary. At least the attempt was made by the United States to separate military space from civilian space and to at least create the opportunity for the world to follow and say, okay, all right, space can remain civilian, military activities, okay, but at least they're over here where they're identifiable, where there perhaps more transparency. We can make sure that there's a balance of space power so that it's not used against us and other democracies. But there's no such pretense. The Chinese program began as a search for military advantage to develop militarily useful technologies, and its continued control by the People's Liberation Army ensures that at every level possible, it produces dual-use benefits. Yes, the glorious Chinese astronauts go to orbit, do great things, eat bubbles of juice in space and all that good stuff. But the space station itself is basically a stolen design from Russia. That an interesting story, but it's designed to mirror the old Russian Mir space station. Mir meaning peace, but the Mir space station, as Russian histories make clear, was going to be a military battle station in space. It was going to have modules that could dock to it and then go off in other directions and actually bomb targets on Earth. And in my opinion, the Chinese have prepared to use their space station in the same way. It will have modules that can detach and new modules can reattach, and they don't have to tell us that the new modules contain laser weapons or bombs to attack the Earth. And the space station will also have kind of a little doggy following it, a space telescope. It's kind of a large object, but one day the Chinese will announce, "Oh, our space telescope is malfunctioning. We have to replace it with a new one." And lo and behold, the space telescope looks just like what a large laser weapon would look like in space as well. And just to be sure, the institutes that make most of the parts of the space telescope are also expert in making laser weapons. And they've already made public proposals for chemically powered laser weapons in space.